So, welcome to this video that explains the production possibility frontier, a key basic concept in micro and macroeconomics. We're going to start off looking at the micro side, then we'll look at the macro side. And basically the PPF, often also known as the production possibility curve or the production possibility boundary, shows the maximum amount of two goods or services that can be produced in an economy at any one point in time. So it is rather simple, yeah? It assumes we're only producing two goods or two categories of goods, and it compares those on a simple diagram to show the maximum outputs that can be produced. So imagine we are marooned on a desert island. There's four of us. We work hard and we can produce oranges or pineapples. If we all just produce oranges, we can actually produce 10 oranges, yeah, using the resources we have. So the resources will be the factors of production. So that's land, labour, capital, and our enterprise. If we just produce pineapples, we can produce 10 pineapples, okay? And obviously we can divide the labour and the resources, the capital and the land, so that we can produce different combinations of pineapples and oranges. Okay. So, for example, say we were at point B, we were producing 8 oranges and 4 pineapples. And then suddenly we think, we do rather like pineapples, we need to produce more. So what we do is we shift some resources across from oranges to pineapples. Okay? So we now produce at point C. Well, we now produce 8 pineapples, but unfortunately we only produced 4 oranges, we've lost 4 oranges. And that is what we call the opportunity cost, the next best foregone alternative. We do quite like oranges, we've lost out on 4 oranges. Very sad, I know. But at least we've gained pineapples, we now have 8 pineapples. Now, of course, we move from point C to D, but the opportunity cost of moving from C to D has in fact become higher. We now gain 2 extra pineapples. We now gain 10 pineapples, but at the cost of 4 oranges. Now, you may wonder, why is the PPF a curve and not a straight line? And the reason for this is that you get an increased opportunity cost of production as you maximise your output of pineapples and oranges. And the reason for this is that some resources, indeed some people, aren't equally good at producing oranges or pineapples. Some people are rather suited to producing oranges. And so they're forced to produce pineapples. The efficiency of the output is not as great. Okay, so I mention efficiency because all the way along this line, microeconomists would say that this is productively efficient because we're producing the maximum we can with existing resources. If we were inside the line, such as at point U, so say 2 people want to go and sunbathe all day and drink tequila, then what would happen is we'd be within the line because we'd have unemployed resources, and therefore we might only produce 4 oranges and 4 pineapples, and that would be inefficient. So we wouldn't be productively efficient at that point. And the line doesn't show allocative efficiency, because if we just produce pineapples, that will maybe upset people like oranges, and therefore we're not meeting their tastes and preferences. So that's a micro approach. We may on that island think, how can we produce more oranges and pineapples? So we could try and get some slaves, we could try and increase the amount of labour, we could get some more land if we took over a neighbouring island, so we could increase our resources, or we could use our resources more efficiently. And in that way, the PPF would move outwards. And guess what? We'd have more oranges and we'd have more pineapples. Okay, so we'll use this diagram here to focus mainly on more the macro side. As I said, if you have unemployed resources, you're at some point within the line. If you're using this diagram In an exam, you might just want to put good X or good Y, or good A or good B, or capital goods and consumption goods, or whatever suits. Okay, so if you're unemployed resources, such as unemployed labour, capital, land, you're going to be inside the PPF, okay, and you're not maximising your output. Now the other thing, how do we get economic growth? Well, economic growth occurs really in two ways. One, if we increase the amount of resources, if we increase the amount of factors of production, so there's an increase in the labour force, the size of the working population, we discover oil, we have more capital, we set up more firms, then this might increase the potential output of the economy by increasing the level of resources. For example, if there's migration to a country and more people are working. Okay, so that's one method which will shift the PPF out, and then we will end up going from A to point B. Okay. Right, another method which has been very significant for the past few hundred years since the Industrial Revolution is an increase in productivity. Productivity is perhaps the most important word in macroeconomics. And it means basically output per person. If we employ more technology, better capital, we can increase output per person. Therefore, the PPF will shift outwards to the right. Okay. Now, if this happens in one particular good, say it happens that in pineapples, we discover a new method of producing pineapples, say fertilizer for pineapples, but it has no effect on oranges, so we've increased our productivity of pineapples, what will happen to the PPF? It will move out in a horizontal way, like that, so that it changes the opportunity cost ratios, so we now have, say, potentially 12 pineapples if we only produce pineapples. Okay, you could illustrate that on this slide as well, of course. So that's increasing productivity. Now say there's a natural disaster, say that there's huge floods, or a hurricane, or a war that knocks out a lot of your capital. What will happen, of course, is the PPF will shift inwards. Okay? So where maximum output is somewhere along here, if you're unfortunate enough to have some sort of natural disaster. So I hope that's useful. The PPF can be used very effectively in many answers. Thank you for watching.